for what it's worth, I'm not for any of this stuff at all. I was for the bombing at 17th and JFK because I'm thinking, yeah, I'll be able to get a lot of people's attention that way because of a prediction, getting it right. Having people on board, not just my subs, but family, friends. But then how many family members do I have? How many friends do I actually have? I got like 20 family members. And like 2 friends, for real. But everything's being played out because there's a fake Messiah. The fake Messiah is playing out the Bible literally. So destruction is necessary for that mindset. And at one point I was in agreement with it. Like the destruction of the buildings, the William Penn building, seeing that go down, seeing the bombing happen in Philadelphia. But then once I got there on the final prediction date on July 8th, 2020, then afterwards, after seeing, after nothing happening, but seeing everything else, and just knowing in my spirit how this thing works and how you're led along. I'm supposed to see everything that I've seen because of what they've shown me. And as Click will tell you, those bombings that are printed on the U.S. currency that you won't see, you'll never see them because it was stopped. So now that was stopped, and the people that stopped it and the ones that know that it was going to happen, if I'm right, then they need to start stopping everything else. It's like you think, well, now I'm going to teach these people in the world. I'm going to teach them. They're going to learn and they're going to worship me. But that's what the fake Messiah wants you to do. Worship him as God. Well, he's not. God is God. There's only one God. It's God. The energy source that created everything on the planet, everywhere. That's God. God is finished with the lies, the agenda. He's not having it. I talked to him. And he said he's not having it. He wants it all to stop as soon as possible. Everything. There's no point. You say, well, no, people need to learn. How? Why? What? By lying to them? Showing them even a stupid-ass alien invasion or a fake rapture once 144,000 people died of coronavirus and then disappearing actually. It's all lies. So what are you looking? You're looking to get people to turn to God through lies? No, it's about control and power that you already know, the ones from the inside, you already know how this change is happening. But the Bible has to be played out in full. Well, under whose interpretation? 21 days of Daniel. All that destruction that's happening, don't you know that it's spiritual? Don't you know that everything in that book is spiritual? And then because the fake Messiah has all this control and comes down from heaven, has to play this out, Literally. Fire coming from heaven has nothing to do with actual fire coming from heaven. It's fire that proceeds out of the mouth. That's it. It's not literal fire. All this destruction, asteroids coming, there aren't asteroids. Asteroids is us. We are the asteroids coming from heaven, destroying the earth. The people that are lying through their teeth, we're destroying them. So when you got 21 days of Daniel and Michael standing up to help, Michael stands up to help because that spirit takes over and just floods everybody that has eyes to see, that have been surveilling this entire time. There's no need for destruction. People are brainwashed. The way that society is, you created it. You created it. The ones that want to be worshipped and have all this control and play God when they're not. If you just leave us to hell alone, we'll be just fine. Just like all the animals on the planet. You're not making a squirrel, telling a squirrel you can't grab nuts and hide them. We're not going up to the lions and tigers and putting a mask on them and telling them they can't go anywhere. No, we're just doing that to the human race. Everything was created to cause this division. Everybody, you want to stop people from sinning? You don't have to lie to us and show us nuclear bombs and catastrophes everywhere and shut everything down and try to starve us out and make people wear masks for the past 6 months. And then commercials, I mean, everything is just mask. It's not going anywhere. It is going somewhere. It's leaving. But the plan is to keep it that way. And then for the next 3.5 years, just torture people, make them suffer, and worship one person as God. I'm not for it. I'm completely against it. For whatever it's worth, to whoever is listening and whoever has the ability to get this message up more. Michael already stood up. He's already here. He's already helping. It's already happening. These 21 days. That's my feeling. We've become slaves to Satan because of the lies. The land is ours. You guys took it and you're selling it to us. And then you make us pay for things. And then you make us work our entire lives. And then we have no time to do anything, spend time with family, enjoy life. But you guys do. You have all the time in the world to spend time with everybody and do everything and have access to everything in the entire planet and in heaven. People will stop sinning as soon as you release the grip that you have on them. There's resources everywhere. There's food for all. Just like the Bible literally says, there's food for all. There's plenty of everything for everybody. There's vehicles sitting in all throughout the world. There's dealerships. There's vehicles just sitting there, brand new, unused, at least at this time. So there's always a tremendous amount of extra everywhere. There's houses just being built. Oh man, the way that you get rid of people, mass amounts of people sinning and going to jail, is to free things up. Even if you decide not to completely have everything free, make it more affordable. When you can make things affordable, then people don't have to go out and steal. They don't have to work a third of their life every day a third of your life. 1/3 of your life. And usually even more than that, because you gotta drive to work, you gotta drive back to work. Me personally, 10 hours a day is gone. 5 days a week, sometimes 6. It's just there's no way that I would continue doing this like this. I would eventually wind up just being, I wouldn't say homeless, but living with other people instead of having a comfort of my own home, because I'm just not going to be keep working like this and just not having time, like having one day off a week. You don't even feel like I wanted to have a barbecue. I like barbecues. Who doesn't? But for one day, and then it's back to work next day, and then you got to go all week in the same shit, man. It's so sickening, because the system is set up like this. The beast system has a grip of everybody, but that grip is being let loose. I know it's going to go, but how is it going to go? When people start opening up their mouth to swallow up the flood. The hell with this, man. I'm not for any of it. I'm not for any of it. No bombings, no destruction, no deaths, none of it. Stop lying. Start telling the truth. And free things up so everybody has access to it. Because when you don't have to work 8 hours a day, and just to pay bills, just to pay bills, and you don't spend any time with any, and relationships go sour. Wives and husbands, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers. When you don't have time, and then here's the thing. Well, with the coronavirus shutting everything, everybody's going to have time together. Yeah, but that's still artificial time, because it's a creation that put on your damn mask, shut up, sheep slaughter, the dead sheep, because as soon as you're born into this system, what do you see? A doctor with a mask. So as soon as you're born into the system, right at the art museum, what do you see as soon as you get up to the top? A mask, because that's the dead sheep. It's this dead sheep slaughter. Leave us the hell alone. Just leave us alone. We'll be fine without being controlled. When people have the ability to have access to things like something as simple as a new car to get around wherever you got to go, and then you don't actually have to work 8 hours a day, but you can still put in a few hours of doing something that actually helps. But the slavery part, for people that think that we're only slaves if you were black back in the day, it's no, man. We're all this. Can you do what you want to do? Do you own your land? And even if you own your land, oh, well, you're going to have to pay taxes on that for the rest of your life. And if you don't, we're just going to take it back from you. You can actually own your own house, own the land with the house on top of it, but you still have to pay something, don't you? Who are we paying this to? The Messiah. That's who. We're paying it to the Messiah. The one that is not. And to the Messiah himself. What is it about the control that you actually, why do you want people to worship you? You have everything everywhere. Anything that you need, you got access to. Your entire life, you can go and do whatever it is, whenever, wherever. You live on your island, you want to get in your yacht, you want to go fishing? I'm sure you can. I bet you can take your wife and kids with you and spend the entire day with them. And knowing that you don't have to wake up and waste your life for 10 hours a day, you get to have really good relationships with just them. But in the meantime, everybody else has to worship you. Waking up into this world, knowing this, yeah, I can't help but to feel disgusted. It's sickening. Seeing people walk around voluntarily with their mask on, I'm not even mad at them. I'm disgusted at the people that are in charge of creating this. And you know who you are. But I see it. I get it. You know time is short. You know your time's up. But in the meantime, so, okay, well, you know what? It's like knowing that you're getting broken up with by your girlfriend, and then you're going to flatten her tires. You're going to not let her, and then you're going to make it difficult for her as she's leaving. There's no need for all this deception, because the only reason is to get people to worship that one person that's trying to be God. And God's saying, this isn't the way it's going. The Bible is not, it's not a literal thing. The entire book is spiritual. And let's just say the elite actually wrote the Bible, which they did. I mean, they did. It's the people, they're inspired by God. But at what point in time are they inspired by God? They're writing the Bible. And then God inspires them. So then they start writing it truthfully. But let's just say the elite wrote this Bible out. Because were you born 150 years ago? How the hell do you know really what was in print or wasn't in print? You just don't. But the Bible is being played out. And let's say they wrote the Bible. And they made sure that they're going to have a character playing the Messiah in the end too. So when that happens, and they are playing it out, but then the truth comes out where, no, this is all spiritual. Then why do you have to follow through with lying continually and then playing this out? And then the people believing like, no, well, we still have to, well, 2/3 of the world still has to die because we need, no, they don't have to die. Not one person has to die. Donald Trump even told you directly, there's not one person that needed a ventilator. End of sentence. Period. Point blank. Don't say no more. There's not one person that needed a ventilator in America that didn't get one. What he's really saying is there's not one person that needed one. There's not one person. You don't need it. The virus isn't a real thing. It's just the same as it always was. People that die of flus and whatever, they die. Attach coronavirus to it because you're lying. So to get people to worship you through lies, nope. I'm against your pillows, because ye hunt the souls of men and make them fly. I'm against it. I'm against every bit of it. Every last lying word that comes out of the people that read their damn scripts. Leave us the hell alone. We'll be just fine. You're not bothering any of the animals. They're going to continue on. They're just fine the way that they are. But because you create the nonsense, you create the disease, you create the problems, and then you have a solution for the problems that you created. Oh, it's so sickening. I can't stand it anymore. I just can't stand it. I am ventilating right now. I'm just ventilating. There's no need. Free things up. Start opening up doors. Start giving things away. You know, we don't have much time left in our lives. For those that are 50 and 60 and 70, the ones that are in charge, how much more time do you have in life? And why do you want to spend it being worshipped by other people as something that you're not? Like, if you're not somebody and you're pretending to be them, it's not real. Like, it's not authentic. How can you have a good feeling about that without God strickening your heart with guilt for being fraudulent? I don't know. I mean, that's what kept me on the straight and narrow, because why would I want to pretend to be somebody else? Why would I take credit for somebody else's life or what they did? So create, like, I know this has been going on from the beginning of time, but time's up. Time's up. The whole script it's revealed. Everything that you guys are doing. I exposed all of it to you. To everybody that can see behind the scenes. You guys know this. So don't let somebody like Lucifer convince you that that this stuff has to play out literally. Just know this. He knows it's all spiritual. That's why he's playing it out literally. Don't let him convince you that people need to still die and we need to continue on with this stuff. No, we don't. It's over. Like, these people that walk around with the mask voluntarily, they just don't know any better. They're not sinning. It's not a sin that they're putting this on. It's a voluntarily thing that you do, especially if you're just walking out in the world with the damn thing on. But you'll be just fine in the New World Order because you're complying. But this New World Order isn't going to happen the way that it was planned. It was going in this direction. Now that the truth is here, well, it's not going in that direction anymore. But there's still some trickery going on behind the scenes. I feel it. People are still being deceptive. Because there's still a 40-day period that, well, depending on where you're at. Do you believe we're at the beginning of Christ's ministry or at the end of it? Or is it in the middle? Because he started, and then it gets to a certain point, and then it ends, but it begins for another group. So where are we at? When Christ first started, he was tempted for 40 days, right? Well, how about when he died and rose again and was seen for 40 days? Which one is it? Well, it depends on what you know. If you think we're at the beginning, let's just say this. If you think you're the Messiah and they come to you and all of a sudden you're like, everything, they're tempting you with all kinds of stuff. Well, if you don't realize that your ministry began a while back and you're at the end of your ministry for that point, then you will be the Antichrist. You'll be sitting in that seat. Because in all likelihood right now, here's how it works. The planet is getting ready to look like it's destroyed. So when they take the Messiah that they're trying to deceive and the one that isn't, when they take you up there to heaven, to this high mountain in an instant, and they show you all the kingdoms that are down here, they say you can have all of it. But let's say that when you're up there, down here, there's like all types of destruction, and it's like, well, you don't want to own this where we're at? You don't want this? You want to go back down there? Okay. Because what we're going to show you down there is all holographic while you're up there. So just keep this in mind, whoever the Messiah is, if you're watching my video. The possibility is how I see it. They take you up, and as there's all types of destruction here, you'll be tempted to stay there and not come back to Earth.